The world never plays by any fair rules. No matter how loyal you remain, someone will eventually stab you in the back. No matter how talented you grow, someone far less capable will somehow steal your opportunity. That's the harsh truth of existence. But those who truly grasp this truth, they don't just endure, they dominate. And those who dominate, they shape the rules. This is a force you cannot see, yet everyone senses its presence. This is dark intelligence. Dark intelligence emerges when people face betrayal, humiliation, and crushing defeat. Most collapse under the weight, but you forge unbreakable strength from that same pain. It's the type of intelligence that observes silently, listens deeply, remains calm, and strikes only when the timing is flawless. While others waste energy shouting, you collect valuable insights. While they explode in rage, you calculate every possible move. While they suffocate in their own feelings, you design the path ahead. Most people are still playing checkers on a tiny board. You're about to master the art of chess on a grand scale. But before we go any further, let me make this absolutely clear. This knowledge exists. That's for self-protection, not for causing harm. Apply it to shield yourself, never to damage innocent lives. The purpose is to comprehend the hidden game, not to transform into its monster. Today, you're going to uncover the 8 psychological traits that divide survivors from victims, leaders from followers, victors from the defeated. Right now, I want you to type this affirmation in the comments. I choose to be strategically intelligent, not emotionally reactive. Now, let's reveal the hidden truths that truly powerful individuals prefer you never discover. Number 1, calculated opacity. You never make your full intentions completely obvious. You reveal only what serves the moment. When others see just half the picture, they instinctively fill the remaining gaps with their own imagination. And that imagination ends up controlling their actions more than anything else. Machiavelli once said, "Everyone sees what you appear to be. Few experience what you really are." Consider the most magnetic people you've ever encountered. They never lay all their cards on the table. They leave deliberate spaces in their stories. They respond to direct questions with thoughtful questions of their own. They offer a subtle smile when others expect full explanations. This isn't deception. This is deliberate strategic communication. Here's what typically happens in everyday conversations. Someone poses a question and you immediately feel pressured to provide a thorough, complete response. You lay out your motives, your insecurities, your future plans. You believe you're building trust through openness, but you're actually surrendering your advantage. Truly intelligent people recognize that mystery generates real influence. When you withhold certain details, people grow curious. Curiosity breeds genuine interest. Interest creates respect, and respect opens the door to lasting influence. Imagine someone casually asks about your plans for the weekend. Most individuals reply, "Oh, I'm probably just relaxing at home, catching up on some shows." That's total transparency, but it's also instantly forgettable and ordinary. Instead, you might respond, "I've got something significant lined up that needs my full focus." Then smoothly shift the topic. Feel the shift in energy. The first response makes you entirely predictable. The second instantly makes you intriguing and memorable. This doesn't require rudeness or constant secrecy. It demands selectivity about what information you release and precisely when you release it. The most accomplished individuals across every domain have mastered this exact principle. They disclose just enough to maintain engagement, yet always retain enough to preserve their edge. Your personal information is valuable currency. Never spend it carelessly or all at once. When you consistently practice calculated opacity, others begin listening far more closely to whatever you do choose to say because they understand you rarely say everything. Your words gain heavier impact simply because they're delivered sparingly. Always remember, the objective isn't mystery purely for dramatic effect. The objective is maintaining firm control over your own narrative and every relationship you build. Number 2. Adaptive persona. You never present the exact same version of yourself to every person. You consciously adjust your demeanor based on your audience. People believe they fully understand you, but they only ever encounter one carefully chosen facet. Machiavelli once said, "A prince ought to take care that he never lets anything slip from his lips that is, not replete with the 5 qualities mentioned above, that he may appear to him who sees and hears him altogether merciful, faithful, humane, upright, and religious." This isn't about pretending or being inauthentic. This is about maximum effectiveness. You already practice this instinctively in daily life. You communicate differently with your elders than with close friends. You behave differently during formal interviews than at casual gatherings. You highlight different parts of your personality depending on the context. Adaptive persona elevates this natural behavior into deliberate strategy. Every individual you encounter carries unique values, distinct communication preferences, and individual ways of interpreting information. If you deploy identical approaches with everyone, your company connect deeply with a few, while completely missing the rest. Intelligent people carefully observe their counterpart and calibrate their style accordingly. Are they highly logical? Provide clear facts and solid data. Are they deeply emotional? Build connection through shared feelings and empathy. Are they results-oriented? Demonstrate practical functionality. Are they visionary thinkers? Paint inspire. Big picture possibilities. This isn't manipulation in any negative sense. This is advanced communication intelligence. Consider water as the perfect metaphor. Water effortlessly adapts to any container's shape, yet it never loses its fundamental nature. It remains water whether poured into a glass, a bottle, or an ocean. Your adaptive persona functions identically. You modify your external presentation to suit the environment, while your core values and authentic self remain completely intact. The common error most commit is believing authenticity demands identical behavior across all situations. But true authenticity means expressing your genuine self in ways that remain effective for each unique context. When you fully master adaptive persona, you transform into someone capable of company, connecting meaningfully with virtually anyone. People feel truly seen and heard in your presence because you're communicating directly in their preferred language. This ability becomes extraordinarily valuable in negotiations, leadership roles, and cultivating lasting relationships. You stop forcing others to decipher your style. Instead, you make genuine connection almost effortless for them. But here's the essential caution. Never adapt to the point of losing your true identity. Your foundational values, personal integrity, and unchanging principles must remain rock solid. Only your outward expression should flex and adjust. The most resilient individuals resemble diamonds. They possess countless brilliant facets, yet they remain one unbreakable whole. Number 3. The principle of detachment. You refuse to become enslaved by any single relationship, emotion, or external opinion. Whatever you're unafraid to lose can never truly control you. Whatever cannot chain you can never successfully manipulate you either. Machiavelli once said, "Since love and fear can hardly exist together, if we must choose between them, it is far safer to be feared than loved." Detachment stands as perhaps the most misinterpreted element of dark intelligence. Many assume it requires becoming cold or emotionally numb. It absolutely does not. It simply means achieving true inner freedom. Most individuals remain imprisoned by their various attachments. They fear losing their position, so they tolerate unacceptable treatment. They fear losing a partner, so they repeatedly compromise core values. They fear losing social approval, so they say whatever pleases the crowd instead of what must be said. This fear of loss creates profound weakness. Complete freedom from such fear generates unmatched strength. This doesn't imply you should stop caring about anything or anyone. It means refusing to become desperate about any specific outcome. Picture this scenario. 2 parties negotiate a critical business agreement. Person desperately requires this deal to succeed. They've already mentally spent the money and planned their future around it. Person B would prefer the deal works out, yet they possess multiple alternatives. They're fully prepared to walk away if conditions aren't ideal. Who clearly holds greater negotiating power? Person B, without question, because their lack of attachment allows them to operate from genuine strength. Detachment grants crystal clear vision. When you're not emotionally chained to being proven right, you perceive situations far more accurately. When you're not starving for validation, you make dramatically superior decisions. When you're not terrified of solitude, you select far healthier relationships. Here's the beautiful paradox: the less desperately need any particular result, the higher the probability you actually achieve it. Reflect on truly confident individuals. Their confidence doesn't stem from constant success. It arises from deep knowledge that they'll remain whole regardless of temporary failure. That's authentic detachment in action. Now, this absolutely doesn't mean becoming reckless or completely indifferent. You must still pursue goals with dedication and nurture meaningful relationships, but never allow attachment to cloud judgment or force poor strategic choices. Detachment additionally shields you against manipulation attempts. When someone threatens to remove something you're genuinely unafraid to lose, their entire threat collapses instantly. The most feared individual in any environment is often the one with nothing left to lose. Yet the most powerful individual is the one possessing everything to gain while fearing nothing. Begin practicing this gradually. Start small. Release attachment to winning every minor debate. Release desperate need to be universally liked. Release rigid attachment to plans unfolding exactly as envisioned. As you strengthen this muscle, you'll observe something remarkable. People begin treating you with noticeably greater respect. They intuitively sense you cannot be easily controlled, and that perception alone commands deeper admiration. Always remember, detachment isn't about ceasing to care. It's about caring deeply while refusing to let that care dominate or control your actions. Number 4, silent leverage. You never apply direct force or pressure, you simply wait patiently. When others err and expose vulnerability, your quiet presence alone becomes the most dominant influence in any situation. Machiavelli once said, "Never was anything great achieved without danger." Most individuals mistakenly believe power must be loud and obvious. They assume it involves raised voices, bold demands, and forcing submission through sheer will. That's beginner-level thinking. True power speaks in whispers. Silent leverage represents the mastery of generating influence without uttering a single word. It's about positioning yourself so your mere existence alters the entire dynamic of any room or interaction. Here's exactly how it operates. Rather than commanding people directly, you engineer circumstances where they voluntarily choose actions that benefit you. Rather than demanding respect outright, you become quietly indispensable. Rather than battling for control, you create conditions where others willingly surrender it. Let's examine concrete examples for clarity. In conversations, silent leverage manifests through mastering strategic pauses. Most individuals grow deeply uncomfortable with silence, causing them to rush in and fill it with unnecessary words. Those extra words frequently reveal far more than originally intended. When you remain perfectly comfortable in silence, you seize complete control of a conversational rhythm. Next time someone poses a challenging question, resist the urge to respond instantly. Pause deliberately. Maintain thoughtful eye contact. Allow the silence to extend several seconds before delivering your response. Observe how dramatically this elevates the perceived importance of whatever you eventually say. In negotiations, silent leverage emerges from possessing genuine alternatives you never need to mention explicitly. When counterparts sense you hold viable options, their entire approach shifts. You never threaten departure. Your calm willingness to leave speaks volumes without words. In relationships, silent Leverage develops through consistently adding substantial value without ever demanding acknowledgement. When you repeatedly enhance others' lives quietly, they naturally fight to keep you close. You never demand loyalty. You cultivate it through sustained positive impact. In professional environments, silent leverage grows by becoming the reliable source everyone seeks for solutions. You never proclaim yourself the expert. You simply deliver solutions consistently until your reputation becomes undeniable. The foundation of silent leverage is unwavering patience. You're never chasing immediate validation. You're constructing long-term dominance. Most individuals crave instant rewards. They demand visible proof their efforts matter right away. Silent leverage operates on entirely different Ming. You sow seeds today and trust growth tomorrow. You make calculated investments and await substantial returns. This demands a completely different mindset. You must embrace delayed gratification fully. You must trust that consistent, quiet actions will eventually generate the exact influence you desire. What transforms when you truly master silent leverage? People begin approaching you for guidance without prompting. They start seeking your approval without you ever requesting it. They begin following your direction without explicit instruction. You become the subtle force quietly shaping outcomes while others remain unaware of your role. But here's the vital ethical boundary. Silent leverage must never manipulate others into self-harm. The highest purpose creates mutual benefit for everyone involved. The most honorable application guides people toward decisions that genuinely improve their own lives and circumstances. You're never deceiving anyone. You're gently steering toward outcomes that serve collective interests. Always remember, silent leverage remains highly active. You're constantly making strategic moves. You're simply executing them quietly and precisely rather than loudly and obviously. Number 5. Psychological echo. You mirror people's deepest desires and hidden fears directly back to them. They believe you're speaking their exact language while you're actually gaining profound insight and subtle influence. Machiavelli once said, "Men judge generally more by the eye than by the hand, for everyone can see and few can feel. Everyone sees what you appear to be. Few really know what you are." Psychological echo involves becoming a perfect mirror that reflects exactly what individuals need to experience in that moment. This isn't deception of any kind. It's advanced empathy combined with strategic delivery. People never purchase mere products, services, or concepts. They invest in solutions to burning problems and fulfillment of unspoken desires. You accurately identify and reflect those core needs. You become indispensable in their eyes. Most individuals fail miserably here because they remain fixated on broadcasting their own message rather than receiving what others truly need to hear. Let me demonstrate how psychological echo functions practically. First, become a dedicated student of human behavior. Recognize that every person carries invisible emotional weight, secret aspirations, and unspoken anxieties. Your role involves listening for subtle clues revealing those hidden layers. When someone discusses their career, they're not merely sharing facts. They're exposing self-image, core values, and underlying worries. When someone opens up about relationships, they're displaying emotional patterns and deepest unmet needs. Listen only to formulate quick replies. You must listen exclusively to understand completely. Here's a proven framework. Every individual silently asks 3 fundamental questions during interactions. Do you truly see me? Do you genuinely understand me? Do you actually value me? When your words and behavior answer yes to all 3, you forge unbreakable connection. The psychological echo method requires reflecting not just surface words, but underlying meaning. You tune into emotion beneath statements, need behind complaints, fear behind frustration. For instance, if someone declares, "I absolutely hate my job," most respond instantly with generic advice about quitting or searching elsewhere. but deeper listening might reveal they truly feel undervalued, stagnant, or directionless. A powerful psychological echo might sound like, "It seems like your contributions aren't being recognized the way they deserve," or maybe you're craving challenges that actually stretch your abilities. Notice the profound difference. Instead of rushing solutions, you validate their emotional reality. This creates instant feelings of being deeply understood, rapidly building trust and opening influence. Channels. The secret lies in reflecting the positive underlying intention. If someone complains about overwhelming workload, reflect back their exceptional dedication and high personal standards. If someone expresses anger about circumstances, reflect back their strong desire for excellence and fairness. This approach succeeds because humans possess fundamental psychological need for genuine understanding. When you demonstrate true comprehension, people automatically grant greater trust and elevate your opinions significantly. But here's where it becomes extraordinarily potent. Once you grasp someone's fundamental needs and fears, you can frame ideas, suggestions, and requests in language that naturally resonates. If security drives them, present concepts emphasizing stability and protectity. If recognition motivates them, frame ideas around achievement and acknowledgement. If freedom matters most, highlight independence and personal choice. You never alter your core message. You simply tailor delivery to match their unique psychological wiring. This proves incredibly effective in leadership, persuasion, parenting, and intimate relationships. When individuals feel profoundly understood, they naturally desire collaboration, guidance, and support from you. The most ethical application stems from sincere interest in others' well-being. When you deploy psychological echo to genuinely serve their highest interests, it becomes a powerful tool for creating deeper, more authentic connections. Number 6. Ambiguous morality. You exist beyond simple labels of good or evil. You simply achieve necessary results. True power rarely resides in pure black or white. Often it thrives within complex gray zones. Machiavelli once said, "Since it is difficult to join them together, it is safer to be feared than to be loved when one of the two must be lacking." This represents the most debated trait of dark intelligence, and the one most frequently misunderstood. So let me clarify precisely what it entails and what it absolutely does not. Ambiguous morality never means abandoning all principles. It never justifies any action regardless of harm caused. It never endorses damaging others purely for personal gain. What it truly means is recognizing reality's inherent complexity. Sometimes short-term kindness creates long-term suffering. Sometimes excessive niceness enables destructive turns. Sometimes genuine protection demands uncomfortable choices. Here's the unfiltered truth. Absolute moral purity becomes luxury unavailable when navigating high-stakes situations with real consequences. Let me illustrate through concrete scenarios. Suppose you lead a team and discover one member repeatedly deceives clients, eroding trust and damaging reputation. The seemingly kind response, might involve endless chances, additional training, and hopeful improvement. But what about honest team members suffering consequences? What about deceived clients? What about organizational long-term survival? Someone practicing ambiguous morality might conclude protecting the majority outweighs comforting the individual. They make the painful decision to remove that person despite immediate disco. Fort. This isn't cruelty. This represents pragmatic responsibility. Another example, someone seeks relationship advice about clearly toxic partnership. The superficially kind approach might avoid hard truths to spare feelings. But ambiguous morality recognizes true compassion, sometimes demands delivering difficult reality, even causing temporary pain, to prevent greater future harm. The guiding principle focuses relentlessly on outcomes rather than superficial appearances. Sometimes actions appearing virtuous produce terrible results. Sometimes actions appearing harsh generate superior long-term benefits for everyone. This demands advanced moral reasoning. Instead of asking what makes me appear virtuous, you ask what produces optimal results for maximum people. It also requires accepting full responsibility for difficult decisions, even when unpopular or misunderstood. But here's the critical boundary. Ambiguous morality never equates to pure selfishness. You never prioritize personal gain at others' deliberate expense. You make pragmatic choices, serving broader good, even when personally costly. This trait additionally involves recognizing context, determines appropriateness. Ethical behavior wrong in one scenario might become necessary in another. For instance, absolute honesty serves intimate relationships beautifully, yet strategic selective disclosure proves more effective in certain negotiations. Individuals with ambiguous morality comprehend these nuances and adapt responses accordingly. The greatest risk involves rationalizing harmful selfishness. That's why establishing unbreakable personal ethics remains essential. Define clear, non-negotiable boundaries. Which values remain absolute? Which lines never get crossed? Which consequences are you willing to own completely? Within those firm limits, grant yourself permission for pragmatic strategy, even when others fail to understand or approve. Always remember, the ultimate aim isn't universal popularity. The aim is maximum effectiveness, combined with ethical responsibility in a complicated world where simplistic solutions rarely suffice. Number 7. Controlled exposure. You never reveal your complete self indiscriminately. The less others truly know, the more they project assumptions, and those assumptions create openings that simplify your strategy. Machiavelli once said, "Men are so simple of mind, and so much dominated by their immediate needs, that a deceitful person will always find plenty who are ready to be deceived." In an era where individuals broadcast every life detail across social platforms, controlled exposure might seem old-fashioned, yet it actually holds greater power than ever. When everyone overshares constantly, the person who shares deliberately becomes uniquely compelling. When everyone exposes raw thoughts and emotions publicly, the individual maintaining measured mystery becomes deeply fascinating. Controlled exposure demands intentional management of personal information. It requires understanding that universal access to your inner world isn't necessary, and that selective disclosure can actually strengthen connections while enhancing influence. Let's explore underlying psychology first. Humans possess innate curiosity, driving us toward incomplete puzzles. When encountering gaps or mystery, our minds compulsively attempt completion. This phenomenon, known as the curiosity gap, represents one of humanity's strongest psychological drivers. When you master controlled exposure, you intentionally create these gaps, making others far more invested in you and far more attentive to whatever you choose to reveal. Reflect on the most captivating individuals you've met. They likely never shared everything immediately. They offered enough to maintain interest while leaving you desiring deeper knowledge. This rarely happens accidentally. It's deliberate design. Now, consider professional applications. Controlled exposure involves selective timing for sharing ideas and capabilities. It means never displaying full skill set immediately. It means retaining certain knowledge until maximum impact moments. For example, rather than demonstrating every talent during first weeks at new position, reveal abilities gradually across months. This creates perception of continuous growth rather than early peak followed by plateau. In social contexts, controlled exposure means resisting urge to share complete life history with new acquaintances. It means gradually disclosing personal details as trust develops naturally. This never involves dishonesty or excessive secrecy. It involves discernment about content and timing of revelations. In negotiations, controlled exposure means withholding certain priorities and limitations initially. It means holding informatio reserves for strategic deployment as discussions evolve. The core principle remains simple. Once revealed, information cannot be retracted. People cannot unlearn what they've learned. Therefore, err toward revealing less rather than more. But controlled exposure extends beyond mere withholding. It heavily involves timing mastery. Identical information produces vastly different reactions depending on revelation moment. For instance, early disclosure of impressive achievement might appear boastful, while same revelation later during problem-solving context appears generous and timely. Controlled exposure additionally requires audience awareness. Different relationships warrant different disclosure levels. Close confidants deserve deeper access than casual contacts. Professional partners require different information than direct competitors. Team members need different insights than industry peers. This never implies duplicity or manipulation. It reflects appropriate boundaries and strategic information management. Here's another crucial dimension. Controlled exposure encompasses digital presence management. Every online post, comment, and image contributes to permanent public record. Others form lasting impressions based on this data, often without personal interaction. Intelligent individuals approach online identity with clear intention. They recognize digital persona forms integral part of overall perception strategy. The objective of controlled exposure isn't artificial mystery. The objective is retaining narrative control across all relationships. When you disclose STR, strategically, you directly influence perception formation. You highlight personality aspects and experiences most relevant to current objectives. You prevent premature labeling or stereotyping based on partial information. But here's the essential balance. Share sufficient truth to forge authentic bonds, yet retain enough privacy to preserve strategic positioning. The most accomplished individuals, intuitively master this equilibrium. They remain open and genuine within relationships, while remaining highly intentional about disclosure depth and timing. Number 8, outcome obsession. You never waste energy winning debates or proving superiority. You focus exclusively on achieving tangible results. Individuals obsessed with outcomes never get trapped in pointless ego battles. Machiavellian said, "The promise given was a necessity of the past. The word broken is a necessity of the present." This single trait separates professionals from amateurs, achievers from dreamers, and results producers from mere talkers. Most individuals become distracted by irrelevant distractions. They prioritize being correct over being effective. They prioritize appearance over actual accomplishment. Why prioritize feeling good about effort over genuine goal attainment? Outcome obsession eliminates all such distractions completely. When you adopt outcome obsession, you begin asking fundamentally different questions. Instead of how can I demonstrate superiority, you ask what exact result am I pursuing? Instead of how can I appear impressive here, you ask which specific actions guarantee desired outcome. This mental shift transforms every aspect of performance. Let's examine arguments and conflicts first. Most approach disagreements as competitive debates requiring victory. They concentrate on logical domination, exposing contradictions and displaying intellectual superiority. But outcome-obsessed individuals approach conflicts completely differently. They first clarify precise desired result from interaction. Perhaps behavior change matters most. Perhaps compromise serves best. Perhaps information gathering proves most valuable. Once outcome clarity exists, they select optimal approach accordingly. Sometimes direct victory serves purpose, but frequently entirely different strategy proves superior. For example, if primary goal involves altering someone's conduct, proving them wrong, often backfires dramatically. People resist admitting error and frequently double down when feeling attacked. Far superior approach might involve guiding them towards self-realization of better path. If relationship preservation matters alongside issue resolution, being proven right often matters less than mutually acceptable solution. This principle applies universally across life domains. In PR, professional contexts, outcome obsession prioritizes actions genuinely advancing organizational objectives over personal visibility or ego satisfaction. It means selecting initiatives based on measurable impact rather than political favor. It means basing decisions on evidence and results rather than personal preference or office dynamics. In personal relationships, outcome obsession emphasizes all connection health over momentary rightness. In isolated disputes, it means selectively engaging only battles truly worth fighting rather than reacting to every irritation. In self-development, outcome obsession demands measuring progress through concrete achievements rather than mere effort or good intentions. It requires brutal honesty regarding effective versus ineffective approaches, regardless of emotional comfort. Here's where outcome obsession becomes truly transformative. It prevents falling into busy work trap without genuine productivity. Many confuse constant motion with meaningful progress. They believe intense effort automatically produces success. But outcome-obsessed individuals recognize possibility of working extremely hard on completely wrong priorities. They continually evaluate, does this specific activity genuinely advance my core objective, or am I avoiding harder, higher impact work through pointless busyness? This mindset breeds what I term strategic laziness. Outcome-obsessed people frequently appear less busy than peers because they ruthlessly prioritize. They concentrate energy exclusively on 20% of efforts, generating 80% of results. They never compete or hardest worker title. They compete solely for most effective title. This philosophy extends to learning and capability building. Rather than attempting universal mastery, outcome-obsessed individuals target precisely skills delivering maximum goal impact. They constantly evaluate what minimum knowledge produces maximum outcome acceleration. This never represents laziness or unethical short-cue. It represents supreme strategic efficiency. Now, here's critical warning regarding outcome obsession. It becomes dangerous when values and relationships get sacrificed purely for results. The healthiest implementation integrates outcome obsession within firm ethical framework. Desired outcomes must incorporate personal integrity maintenance, respectful treatment of others, and positive broader contribution. When these principles become non-negotiable success components, outcome obsession transforms into extraordinary force for good. Another vital element involves willingness to pivot when current approach fails. Most grow overly attached to chosen plans, despite clear lack of results. Outcome-obsessed individuals attach exclusively to goals, never specific methods. If one path proves ineffective, they immediately explore alternatives. If one tactic fails, they rapidly develop superior replacement. They remain completely flexible regarding execution while absolutely rigid regarding destination. This adaptability creates remarkable resilience. When external conditions shift, they adjust tactics seamlessly. When new data emerges, they update strategy instantly. The ultimate purpose of outcome obsession is becoming someone who consistently delivers real-world results. Not someone who discusses potential results. Not someone who merely appears productive. Someone who reliably transforms intention into tangible achievement. This earned reputation compounds massively over time. When others recognize you as consistent deliverer of promised outcomes, they begin presenting superior opportunities, stronger alliances, and higher impact challenges. You've now absorbed the complete 8 traits defining dark intelligence. But pure knowledge without deliberate application remains completely useless. Select single trait that resonated most powerfully. For next 7 days, consciously practice that trait across daily interactions. Avoid attempting mastery of LL8 simultaneously. Focus intensely on one. Observe how others respond differently to your presence. Observe internal shifts when approaching challenges with calculated intelligence rather than reactive emotion. But never forget our opening discussion. This power carries immense responsibility. Apply these principles primarily for self-protection, never casual harm. Use them to generate superior outcomes benefiting everyone involved, not solely yourself. The world desperately requires more strategically intelligent individuals who wield knowledge ethically. People capable of detecting manipulation and shielding themselves plus others from its damage. People able to navigate complexity while discovering solutions serving collective good. That represents authentic purpose of dark intel. Gents, not becoming master manipulator, but becoming completely immune to manipulation, not seizing control over others, but gaining complete mastery over self and circumstances. The most dangerous individual in any room often possesses nothing left to lose, but the most valuable individual comprehends human psychology deeply and applies that comprehension toward improving everyone's reality. CH version. Do you consciously choose to embody? If this video fundamentally shifted your perspective on intelligence and power, smash that like button. If you crave more content exploring psychology, strategy, and human nature, subscribe immediately and activate notification bell. Leave a comment sharing which of these 8 traits you observe most in successful people around you, and which single trait you commit to practicing first. Until next time, always remember, true intelligence transcends mere cleverness. It involves wisdom sufficient to direct your intelligence toward purposes far greater than personal ego. Stay strategic, stay ethical, and stay powerfully in control.